Well, I thought today, since it's Thanksgiving is right around the corner, I thought we'd probably do one of my favorite things, which is cranberry sauce.
Ooh, that sounds good. Do you have a special cranberry sauce you like to make?
Yes, I do. So we're gonna use fresh cranberries, pineapple, and then we're gonna kick it up with a little bit of Hing just to give that kind of local flair to it.
Nice.
So why don't you can help me get started by adding in all like water. I'm gonna chop this pineapple
all right.
while we're doing that.
Water, and then you said all the liquids, the orange juice
Orange
too?
juice.
All right.
So that's a cup of orange juice right there. And then, can you add the brown sugar as well?
Sure, I can do that. And then I'm guessing that I'll need to stir in order to get it all to dissolve?
Correct. So I like to add the liquids in first, especially when I'm using sugar, just because sugar tends to burn really easily. So what I want is to have the liquids in there so it'll kind of dissolve and it'll kind of start the process of melting, and then you'll kind of get that syrup, because that's going to be kind of the base of the syrup for our sauce.
Okay. And does it actually, does some of it boil away, or are we going to take it up that high?
We're gonna bring up the heat so we can let it reduce, and when it adds with the fruit, which has natural pectins, it'll start to gelatinize and actually get a little bit thicker.
Okay, well you're cutting that pineapple beautifully.
Thank you.
Do you have any special tips?
Special tips for pineapple. So what you mainly don't want is you don't want to get the eyes, which are right, like this.
Right.
So what I like to do is I take one slice, and then you can actually kind of see where the eyes are, and you're just trying to carve around it. So I'm gonna cut this in half, and then of course there's the core. And I like to chew on the core.
I like to chew on the core too.
All right, so we'll save that on the side for later.
We won't have everybody watch us do that though.
So once we get the core out, then we're just gonna chop this into small bites. Okay,
And
so
what kind of, so you said bite-sized pieces? Like half an inch?
about a half an inch little dices is the cranberries.
Okay. So this looks pretty dissolved.
Okay, so now you can start adding in the cranberries, because I got the pineapples all cut
All
up.
at once?
Yes.
Yikes.
Careful.
I will. Ooh, these look good.
I know, right?
Yes.
So right around Thanksgiving, November, that's when you start to see them, especially in the supermarkets. So we can get fresh cranberries at this time of year.
That's awesome.
So while we're doing that, I'm gonna also add the pineapples as well.
Okay. Ooh.
So basically we're using about a quarter of a pineapple.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I'm gonna just bring up the heat just a little bit.
And so will these cranberries start popping?
They will start to break down a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And then that's when you're gonna start to kind of create that sauce. And then you have the sugars and also the acid from the pineapple, so it's actually start to get more of that flavor.
Uh-huh.
So once we get that bring it to a boil, we'll start adding our spices.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, I'm gonna chop up some of this. So this is dried Hing.
Oh. What kind of?
Seedless Hing. Hing cherries.
Nice. And so those, I'm guessing, you're gonna cut very small?
Yes. So you just want a little bit, so that a little bit of a taste of it. So when you get a little bit of a bite, you'll have some of the Hings, and it'll just give you that little extra boost of flavor.
That extra boost of flavor that makes it local cranberry sauce.
Right.
Well, Brian, it's starting to boil, I think.
All right. Looks good. All right. So we're gonna start to add in. So I'm gonna add in the Hing cherries.
Okay.
And you can just do that.
And so those will get pretty soft? I'm
Yes,
guessing,
it'll get
as we
soft,
cook?
and then you'll get little bits of bites of Hing cherries inside of there. And then so we have 2 more spices. So this
Okay.
is star anise.
Okay.
So if you want to add this in, so we just need about 3 or 4 pieces.
And what will this do?
The star anise I like just because it has that licorice flavor, and it'll also give it just that kind of just a little bit of that Asian flair that I kind of look for in dishes.
That's nice. And then Hing next?
Hing. Well, it's Hing pineapple, so we have to. So just about a tablespoon of that.
About that?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. And just sprinkle it around?
Correct.
Okay.
And then you're just gonna mix it.
Can't wait to see what this tastes like.
I know. So as you can see, it's starting to boil.
Uh-huh.
And then you can see the bubbles going like that. So it's real good that it's really important that you wanna stir constantly because there's a lot of sugars in here. And
Okay.
it does have the tendency to burn. So what I'm gonna do is, because it's coming to a boil, I'm gonna actually turn it down a little bit. And we'll just get it to where it's kind of a slow simmer.
Okay. And so the sugars would kind of stick on the bottom if I don't
Yes.
go all the way around. So
Right. So every so often you want to just be able to, you want to really be able to touch the bottom and kind of scrape it out.
Okay.
Like that, because then you'll feel when you feel a little bit of that grab.
Right.
Then what'll happen is that means that the sugars are starting to burn.
These cranberries are looking really good. I can tell some of them are getting softer, but it looks so fresh and nice.
So they'll start to break down, and then that's what's going to actually start getting the sauce to be thick.
Okay.
So how long you cook it for, I think, is kind of a personal preference. Like that. For me, I grew up, with the canned stuff. So I'm a little bit more in favor of like a little thicker sauce. Like that. So I'll let this go for maybe say half an hour to about maybe 40 minutes. I got at a low temperature like this.
And would you have to stir it the whole half hour?
No, I wouldn't say that.
That's a workout.
No, no, I'm not gonna make you
I'm
stand.
gonna make you take over.
So if you bring it down and just let it cook down, it'll start to reduce just slightly. And then so every so often I would just come over and just check on it.
Check it a little bit. How does this look, Brian?
It's starting to look really good, but I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn it down just to a little bit of a simmer. And that way, it'll start to reduce nicely.
And I can have a little break.
Yes, you can.
Okay, good. And maybe when we'll come back, we'll get to see the finished product.
Yes.
All ready to go and ready to taste, maybe?
Ready to taste.
I hope you made some turkey too.
I did.
So how does this look, Brian?
That looks actually pretty good. You can see that it's nice and thick. It's really reduced down, but you can still see bits of the cranberry and the pineapples are actually more pronounced now.
Oh, it looks really yummy. Now, do we just shut it off?
Right.
What do we...
Okay, so I'm gonna turn off the heat,
Okay.
and then we can just set it to the side. And what you wanna do is you wanna just let this completely cool. So I would just, let it go until it's completely room temperature. Then you can actually put it, after that you can store it and put it in the refrigerator.
And how long would it keep in the fridge?
This is probably definitely something that you wanna do ahead of time. But I would say probably at least 3 to 4 days. So I would probably say if Thanksgiving's on Thursday, I would do this on Monday.
Oh, that's nice to get it out of the way.
Right,
and
exactly,
Won't
'cause-
be sweating in the kitchen.
I know, because that Thanksgiving Day is just so hectic as it is like that, I think. So what we did was we actually did some earlier this week. So this is nice and cooled down, and you can see that there's a lot of pieces of the pineapple and the cranberries.
Wow, with the cranberries broken down, you actually see the pineapple
Right.
so much more than I thought we would.
So here's one thing though. So whenever we put those star anise in, which are which I totally love because it gives such great flavor like that. But it can be a little bit dangerous, so you want to take those out. A little hint that you could probably do is probably put these in cheesecloth when you put it into when you actually cook it.
Oh, is that so they'd be easier to find?
Right. So you can just take out. It'd be like a little sachet, and you can just take that right out and then discard that.
So the flavor will still come through.
Totally.
Oh, nice.
So I had prepared a little bit of Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh my gosh, I might have to take you home with me for Thanksgiving. That looks so good.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little bit of the cranberry sauce right on top, because I totally cannot eat Thanksgiving turkey without cranberry sauce.
I don't know who can.
A little bit more.
Looks too pretty to eat. We might just have to taste that, just so we can taste what we made.
Okay. Well, I do have some spoons here as well.
Good. Okay, I'm gonna avoid the star anise.
So get a little bit of the cranberry. You should get a little bit of that Hing cherry too as well.
Oh, wow.
What do you think?
It's so good. I get the cranberry flavor, but it really tastes local. I taste the Hing coming through and the pineapple. And you have to try this recipe. Everybody has to try it. So for this recipe and more, visit us
At foodland.com.